Alrighty. Hey, everybody. Hope things are going well for you. Um, Time to start another stream. Truthfully, I don't have a huge idea as to what I'm going to be making today. Um, I was thinking, undo. I was thinking maybe a sci-fi, like more land vehicle of some kind. Um, I don't really know though. Um, so what can we do? Some kind of a I guess I could do the Star Wars rotating wheel thing. It's kind of a neat idea. Something like that. That would be one option. Um, could do that. What else could we do? I'm going with wheels for right now. I'm just sketching, just like as if I were doing it on paper. This is just some thumbnailing for something, some kind of like a trike thing. It's kind of cool. Something kind of doing all this on one layer. I should probably do it on multiples, but I think I'm going to throw most of it away. I'm just trying to sketch out some ideas for things we could maybe do. So that's two. What else? Sci-fi. So pretty much the sky is the limit. We can do whatever. Um, some kind of like Tron-esque. Hmm. Tank vehicles possible. Um, Something going on downtown. There's tons of crowds. My girlfriend was telling me about it. I'm not sure what. She said that fire trucks just went by. So I hope everything's okay. Um, but yeah, something like that. Just a tank sort of vehicle. Um, and going back with wheels, just one single wheel this time. Those scopic things. Those are neat. Something. It's like shaving cream. I love this thing, man. Every time I play with it, it's like, oh, yeah, something kind of like that could be neat. I'm not sure what we use it for. This is the problem with design without intent, is that I'm basically, because I don't have a client brief or I'm not making up one, I don't really know what I'm making, and it makes it harder. Whenever possible, I really like to have some kind of a brief, even if I, like I said, just make it up myself. But so one, two, three wheels, big wheel in the back, small wheel in the front, close together, two-wheeled vehicle. Um, Maybe some kind of like again, sort of vaguely Star Warsy, but like a hover car, something like that. Like a covered land speeder. Always wish we saw more land speeders, right? Like when we get the first one in Star Wars, and that's like pretty much it, in at least in the original trilogy. I guess there's a little bit in the prequels if you want to count them, but it seemed like a missed opportunity. You've got these hover vehicles; they're kind of cool. Why didn't we do more with them? So it's just like ye old flying car. I'm kind of getting a Fifth Element vibe going on there. Eh, 5. Let's see if we can do a couple more, and we'll find what we want. So we've got the hover car in a typical car sense now. Let's go over here because I'm running out of space on that side. So we're doing another hover vehicle, but kind of more Matrix style. So it's got these like engine things here. Now that I've drawn them, I can make them bigger. Got those like engine things there. And then probably filled in. And um, just like really simple wireframing, obviously. If you can tell, it's just like what goes across, and then I can fill in the shape. So it kind of goes across there, there. Give it a bit of a curve, maybe? I don't know. Not feeling that super much yet. Although I might like it more in a minute. But um, but this is another great use of VR, right? Like even if you're not making a finished model, I am very rapidly creating thumbnail sketches, which is all I would call these. But imagine how long it would take me to draw this stuff, and particularly be able to draw it and evaluate it by rotating it around. Like, see, I can kind of be like, oh, yeah, all right. Um, it's super powerful at this stage. It doesn't need to be about modeling at all. It's just about coming up with ideas. That's just sort of silly looking. It looks kind of like a boat. But I wonder what would happen if we I can't go too far because I'm running out of room. That's the edge. Drag it out here to there. And added a few more of those Nebuchadnezzar disc things. So it's like the Nebuchadnezzar, right? I just rewatched the Aliens, the Matrix trilogy, like 2 weeks ago. It was on TV. So, and that's not too bad. It's like some kind of like Nebuchadnezzar bus. um, and we could get more complex here. Add a little bit more space just to break the silhouette up, make it a bit more interesting from multiple angles. And some like things will actually be negative space. So we got that. Maybe one more. I'm kind of so far leaning towards the Nebuchadnezzar. Um, we've got 6. Let's do one more. Let's do a real different shape, but essentially the same thing as the Nebuchadnezzar thing before. Um, but a little bit more aggro. So it's going to be big in the front, kind of hammerheady maybe. In fact, let's actually hammerhead. Whoa, go away. There we go. Let's, problem with having seen things. Let's make it hammerhead. Yeah, and then we can have like an outtake vent there. So we need something on the bottom. I'm gonna try to make it a little flatter. Like there's an engine thing there. I don't want it to look like a pile of poop. And still looks like a pile of poop. Now it looks less like that. Okay. And then we'd want, because we're going with that again, that thing there, and there, and there, and maybe extend it out a little bit. And then we kind of think of this as like a trucker thing. So we're going to give it like a dump truck cockpit area, like a semi 18-wheeler, something like that. All right. Bunch of ideas. I don't really know which one I'm like. I'm gonna actually save them though. Ideas. And I'll even export them. Is it really? It's a million fucking polys. Let's, okay. Decrease res. I know I'm kind of wasting time, but you know, you get what you pay for on these. This is sort of how my process would go in daily life. It's not really a demo. So, okay, now export 2 mil polys. Sure, whatever. I got lots of hard drive space. So we can save those for later. And I think I'm going to try doing something like that. It's a little silly, but we're going to call it hover truck. So let's erase all the ones I'm not using, save up some polys. Okay, so we're going to make something like that. I don't really need to keep it. I kind of know what I want the idea to be, but unless I'm going to try to actually model it on that, but I don't think I am. But we won't get rid of it. Let's move it off to the side. And then new layer. Increase res. Yeah. So we're lined up still. And shrink it in. Did I decrease the res again? I wish there was a way to know what the like level of resolution was for each one of these layers. So you could look and be like, oh, this one's been increased twice, this one's been whatever. But that would be really handy. They have not, to my knowledge, come up with such a thing. Okay. So let's cube, no stroke taper, line constraint, and start modeling so the basic form we want it to be. We want it to be angling in like a triangle. No, off. And angling down, and then down, and connecting that. So many ways you could start this. Like I could just start pushing and pulling virtual clay around too, but I'm gonna try this way this time. Basic that, and we wanted to add out the hammerhead part where like our main thrusters or whatever we're gonna call them would be. So you could tell I was not lined up perfectly, but that's okay. that. And how do we want this to come down? Maybe it comes down again closer this time. So it's kind of more like that as our shape. Kind of leads you to wonder why the engine would be smaller on the bottom, but it's the engine part, and the actual thruster doesn't need to be that large. It's just, that's where the meat of it all happens. And then through the center here, and we'll put our cockpit there, and have it maybe it go down to, I don't know, we'll see. So that's like, it kind of feels like a tractor too, which is kind of neat. I kind of want to basically, so okay, we'll stop here and we'll make up our design brief. We are making a flying, hover flying industrial vehicle. It is not going to be military, but it is industrial and work related. So it is still, we're going to say 80% function over form. What does it do? It's got a lot of oomph in the front. Maybe it's literally like a tugboat or a pilot ship. So it'll connect and pull these anti-graved shipping containers around a starport. So it has to hover. It has to be able to go up, say, like 100 meters, but it's not really going to fly. And it's a local vehicle. It's not made for comfort. There's no traveling in it. It is purely a work vehicle. So we got a big engine, big sense of that engine, which I like. We have a one-man crew compartment area, tiny. It's just going to fit in there. And we're going to say our human scale is roughly maybe a little less that. So that's about the size of a person as we're thinking of it. So it's going to be like a ladder or something to climb up as well. All right, sounds good. So we know what we're doing now. And now I'm actually going to just delete this other thing because I can remake that very easily and it's not a big deal. Keep it simple. And I'm going to decrease the res because this is just going to be my line work. And I'll probably end up deleting it. So let's do a new layer and start skinning this thing. Go to stamps and mechanical, sure. And we'll go with our block and place it in. There we go. And then same thing here. Place it in. And I know it's a little off, but we'll actually might even use that because our sketch is just an idea. It's not necessarily how those small shapes are going to play out, although it could be. And then let's, did I get it right? We'll see. Reasonably. Close enough, we'll call it. And then this one, fortunately, it's going to be mirrored anyway, so I don't have to stress too much. There we go. And what I'm going to do is just, yeah, out, because I can always just erase it afterward, which is where we'll probably go with this. Okay. Then we need to skin the bottom. Shrink it down. Trying to make sure that I'm relatively level. Really nice, actually. Very close to level. And then here, thing. I'm actually going to decrease the res on this too when I'm done, because it doesn't need to be high. This is just our box. Initial starting skin placed. Okay, so that's the shape of our vehicle. I'm going to cut that off now. Just coming in here and carving that back. I got a little bit of that, but that's fine. So we've carved that off, and that works. Is there anything else we need to carve out? I'll get rid of that. And yeah, all right, it's looking good. There's a start form to our tug, hover tug. So now that's gonna decrease the res on that. I don't need to be big, so I could even, whoa, don't do that. Okay, could even go inside now if I felt like it. Whoa, let's see if there's anything that I want to cut out of the inside to shrink it down. And nah, I think I actually textured it reasonably well. So there's no massive wasted polys there. All right, so let's add some of those round engine thingies. The technical term, right? New layer. This one I will increase the res once. And I think I'm going to go to single. And I need some kind of a shape that's going to represent a hover engine. Something like that could work. We might need to work out how we're going to attach it later, but let's not even attach it yet. Let's just say that's going to be there. And then we're going to have one, shrink her down so I get a better sense of what's going on. There. And there. All right. Yeah. So that's what's going to fly our suckers as we're going along. We've got 6 repulsor engines. We'll start calling them something. 6 repulsor engines. Cockpit. Let's attach our repulsor engines. New layer. Switch it up. Maybe we'll just try this simple piece. It's kind of, pretty normal. Doesn't have to be much. We buy this stuff very quickly as long as it's got enough sense of realism that I think we're getting near our time for a reboot. I can feel my computer starting to lag, but we're still okay for this. Let's save. We already named it, so should be good. So now we have our engines attached to our repulsor pods attached to our frame. We're going to give it some like venting exhaust thing here in the top. Kind of around. I wish I had I might actually need to make myself a propeller shape. That would be kind of cool. I don't have one yet that I'm aware of. Do I have see what I have in custom shapes that I've built? And those could work for that. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Go back to this thing. And actually, can we here cut a little bit? Maybe we can cut a little more. I guess I can cut all the way in if I feel like it, but that's cool. Let's do that to start with. Then go back to layer 5, which is our bits part, and then select that and place it there. And place it a little better, hopefully. That's not a little better. That feels a little better. Okay, good enough. Place that in there. And now we're gonna need to put something underneath it. It just feels solid. Doesn't really need to be much. Go back, just for the purposes of filling it. There. We can paint it differently later if we need to, but there's our engine outtake things. And now I need to think about like how we're gonna smooth this down and make this feel a little bit better. Maybe I'll go back to layer 3. Erase out. Did I do that all on layer 3? Oh, it's part of that thing. Okay, so it is there. Good enough. This is layer 2. Or is it layer 3? Layer 3. Cut into it a little bit, just tighten up the forms. Make it feel a little more correct. Nope. That's gonna be a harder one to do, so we'll just leave it alone. Nope. All right, so we're gonna have to fix that somehow. And we are on layer 2. We will get rid of those things. Continuous. Cut those in a little bit. And cut those in a little bit. Those in a little bit. Those. And those. And well, that's from the next one. So can't really get rid of that. But okay. So we've cleaned it up a little bit. Oh, that's from 5. There we go. Okay, we've cleaned it up a bit. And let's go another new layer. And save. Save early, save often. And let's go start tightening things down a little bit. Go away. Line her up. I also want a tool that lines things up along the center. That'll be so flippin' helpful. There we go. That's cool. Massive overkill of an interesting shape, but you know, when you do it along an axis, it just kind of blends it. Cool. Do the same thing here. Okay, I'm liking that. Just to make it feel a little bit more intentional, a little less blobby. Cool. We do it outward. Try that. See what it does. How do I feel? Okay. Yeah. 1 sec, guys. All right. Yep. Then same. No, not quite. Better. I'll let it go up. Sure. Just smoothing down the edges, making it feel like there's a little more intent. Go a little slower. That's kind of cool. Have it go up like that. I like that. And then and this one I'm gonna erase. Oh, too far. No, I'm on my own layer. Okay, well, it just means I need to use a better tool. Since I didn't. There we go. Good enough. And there we go. Cool. Yeah, so we're starting to come together. Got our pods. We need to do something here. And these shapes are not really important. Like keeping in mind that this is a workhorse. This is not something that we're going to stress about as construction people. Maybe we just do. Oh, that's right. This one needs to be. Yep. Love it. Um, cool. I'm on my own layer, so I should be able to move it. Active layer only. Can I? Move it? Make it feel intentional? Yeah, seems like. And then go back to clay. I like this tool, this part. A little higher up. There we go. Nothing says construction like a bit or rebar across the side of something, right? Totally digging that. No. So I changed my mind. I don't think he's going to climb in the outside. I think he's going to come in from the back for our crew. But I want to now, just for texturing purposes, new layer, and give myself something that I can put on top to make glass. Just because it's a lot easier. And primitives that I want to use to play with this. Something, anything. Control simple. Sure. A little smaller. So there's our cockpit. That's just going to be the glass layer. Nothing complicated. Doesn't need to be. But yeah, just to give us form. Continuous. And again, I wish I could figure out a way to make it auto rotate that, but kind of gives it a neat patine of something. Front. So it's got a window, and that's probably going to need a window on the side too, right? It would make sense. We'll give it one whether it needs one or not. And we'll use the same shape. So back to our window layer. Go to side thing. Oh, I see I didn't go all the way in here. Actually, it's just, is it okay? Yeah, it's fine. Concept art. So we got our crew thing. We need to give him a door of some kind so we can get into this thing. It's a good hatch. And that feels like a good hatch. Actually, that feels like a better hatch to me. And keeping track of how big we said our guy was. Let's go to individual. Good 2 hatches. I don't know why, but sure. And then some kind of a ladder thing down the back. Do I have a ladder? I wonder if this will work. Continuous line. Let's shift it down, shrink it to where we want it to be. And under each one, too fast. I don't actually want it to be that much. All right. I mean, kind of a weird ladder, but sure. Just kind of makes the sense that there's something there. So it's got to step up. And then maybe we want and a different handle. Single. Coming out the side. There. And there. No. No, because it needs to open up. It's not that far out. Just a handle on the outside. There we go. So we've now established sort of how they get into this thing. I want to do some more stuff on the top here. Not a lot, because again, tell me I didn't just do all that on the glass. I did. Yes, fuss them. Okay. Delete. No, don't delete. I want to keep my glass there. I have mislayered things again. It's very easy to do, and it will mess you up. So I gotta get rid of that stuff and do it again, but that's okay. New layer. Get my door shape. Actually, we'll use this door shape because it kind of feels more. Okay. Turn it over. Shrink it down. Nope, inside out. Door shape. Cool. And I got a little crap left over from there. Let's get rid of it. Go back and do our we actually did it better this time. There we go. And handle. The kind of thing you could never 3D print at that size. Probably would just break off, but looks cool for this. Okay, so now let's save again. So see, we rebuilt that real fast. No worries. Now the top. We want to do something up here to make it feel better. It needs to feel better. So let's first off, let's give it So I can get it as a 1. Just going to cheat it. There we go. So it's got some kind of a top hatch if you want to get up there on the top to do work. It's a little big, but that's cool. Then let's kind of just, when in doubt, fill it out. Too high. Just a shape. What does it do? We don't know. It's a shape. But I feel like, maybe if I knew better, I would say all these things have very obvious purposes. But I often feel like kind of construction vehicles just have these like things. You're like, why? I don't know. It just looks cool. I'm sure it has a function. These things, they don't waste time making things that don't have a function. It's too expensive for parts and all that stuff. But we're concept artists, so for us, really the point is, does it look cool? Do we buy, and does it look cool? And beyond that, do we buy that it has a function, even if we don't know what that function is? And if yes, great, good enough. So we got those two things there. Maybe another one over here. Kind of makes those up things feel intentional instead of just like leftover parts. Up things, yeah. I'm very technical minded today. What else do we want? Do we want to give it a rocket pod? I don't know if we want it to be a rocket pod, but do we want to give it some kind of... Not like that. Rotate the ship till it's easy for you to move things. I still think like a Photoshop or a 2D artist sometimes, and it's like, wait a minute, I can rotate all of this. I don't have to fight it. Let's make it wider. I think I like it narrower, so no. There? Sure. What are they? They're lights or something, right? Yeah. It doesn't really feel military. It's not got that vibe to it, so I'm okay with it. There's some in here too. Do I just go back to that gate shape again? You know, I got layers to spare, so let's do a new layer. Place it, and just move it into place. And then maybe, can I drag it out a little bit? Yep, that works. Same thing on this side. Drag it in a little bit so it touches in. And then this, I love the move tool. In. And now, yeah, it feels like it was born there. And gives us that level of interest that we want. Let's give some light. This guy can have some lights in the front. New layer. And clay tool. And we'll use these as headlights. So they extend out that way. I don't know why they need giant 80s style headlights, but there's a Simon Stollenhag in me that loves it. Something there, and then maybe some smaller ones just out there. And then maybe, I don't want a big center one. We'll think it, but so we got lights there. I don't know, we'll come back here around that often, but we'll give it lights there and there. And just for instance, I do want something right there in the center now. What can we put there? Doesn't have to be meaningful in any way, but it just needs to be something there. Something like that, maybe. Cool. And it's on my own layer, so I can go and move. There we go. Just a little bit of intent. Fills that form up nicely. Cool. I'm liking this so far. Maybe a little something on the top here. I don't know what yet, but let's see what we got. Bunny ears? Bunny ears! No. But that's okay. And then we'll do the same thing there. Just some forms. You just relax and do these. I sound like Bob Ross, man, but it's true though. You just kind of relax and see where it takes you, and your sense of design will come out. And when it does, you make something. And it's, it's all about giving yourself the freedom to make stuff. Bob Ross, I may sound like Bob Ross, but Bob was a pretty smart guy. Remember that. I'll do the same thing kind of here with these parts, just a little bit more interest, just a little. These are much closer in, but nah, those don't need it. Sure, just some part. Yeah, I'm feeling it. I mean, it's not a sexy vehicle, but I could see it doing its job, and that's kind of where I'd like it to be. It feels very stumpy. Let's see. We can try. And go away. Save. Because it does feel stumpy. But I kind of think it's supposed to feel stumpy, so I'm not sure how we're going to feel with that. No. Turn off active layer only. And out a little bit. Now, what did I do? I must have miscut something. Or it just didn't work. That's better. Yeah, I like that better, actually. It feels a little bit more oomphy. It's got a little more strength to it. Silhouette feels better, too. And like I said, I definitely make things too narrow. Let's try it again, see if we can get it a little more. Yeah, cool. I think I'll need to fill in that space there in the middle now, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Give it another window. Play. It's layer 7? No, layer 8. Layer 8 is Windows. Okay. And I was just using that round cylinder. Primitives. Neater. Which one did I use? Did I have hemisphere? Yeah, that one. That's what I used. Um, so let's go continuous. Yeah, let's try if we can leave off the line constraint. I'll just do it in my hand. No, we'll put on line. So now it's got a window there. I don't know why, but sure, why not? Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, dude, I like it. I'm thinking it. It's working for me. It's got a, like I said, it's got a neat hammerhead sort of front shape. Do we want to add 2 more engines? Could we do that? Would that be cool? That might be cool. Um, did I put the engines on their own layer? I did. I can probably just make it shape-wise pretty close to the same. Or I could duplicate it. And now that we're kind of right at the end, I'm going to do that. Just duplicate it. So if that's layer 13, right? Yeah. So now on layer 13, we come back here, continuous line constraint off, and I'm going to erase those, and erase those. Move tool, put on active layer only, bring it in. Add a little bit. And let's just rebuild the, I could probably figure out which layer it was for, but I don't know. I'm going to texture the whole thing the same anyway, so it doesn't matter. Let's grab our mechanical shapes we use. This one. It's coming into there. And honestly, that's good enough. We don't need to worry about it. The other one too much. I think it's fine. Yeah, so give it more. Now we fill that space now that we've increased it out. And it's the same size and it's all symmetrical still and all that stuff, which is cool. Do we want to add hoses? Pipes, how do we feel? Does it work if, is it better for having? Yeah, probably. Single. You'll notice there's a slightly different sound for single than for continuous, which is cool. Just lets you know if you're paying attention, which mostly I'm not. Sure. Cool. So now it has some wires. Those are good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. Looking cool. A bit of wiring, maybe there. We don't know why. It does not matter why. It's because wiring it looks cool. And there as well. Sure. No, I don't like that back. Cool. Save it. And export it. And we are at what? 6 mil? Nothing. Cool. And I'm not going to export with a, what do you call it? UV coat, because I think I can do that easier afterward. Although it does work. I tried that yesterday, and I can't actually unwrap it, the UVs, and make it so I could paint on it straight into substance if I was worried about it. Okay, so not bad for not knowing what we were going to do today. Thanks for tuning in. You can see the final up on my Instagram, also Eldritch48. If you're not watching this on Twitch, then you're probably watching it on YouTube, but I live stream on Twitch and then I save everything to YouTube afterward if you want to catch it or show it to somebody else later. I really appreciate the support, and I will check you guys later. All right, bye.